Truth. Are you living your truth? Is it based on your belief in the deepest part of your heart? It is that thing you want to be, to do, and have about which you rarely speak to anyone. It is that sacred place in your spirit that lets you know, no matter what, that you are really okay. Are you living your truth? Are you doing what brings you peace and joy? Are you smiling to yourself in the face of adversity, believing you are a divine creation of a loving father and mother? Are you beautiful and strong, powerful and humble, understanding and merciful, intelligent and faithful, protected and prayerful? Is your truth plainly clear and simplistic? Does it bring you understanding that all is well without when all is well within? Are you living your truth all day, every day, when others tell you it is impossible, impractical, irrelevant, and dumb? Is the truth of your being an expression of God? If not, are you really living truth?
As a matter of fact, it's too loud over here. Let's go. I remember growing up as a little girl and knowing that the one thing that I loved to do was having coffee with my grandmother. I remember I was less than 5 years old, and I moved over to my grandmother's house every weekend, and she would sit down with me, and we would have coffee together. It was with cream and sugar. She would make it on her percolator, and we would sit there and talk and laugh and bond. And I did that year after year up until she died. So when I was in my job in corporate America, I decided that that's the one thing that I love, my passion. At my cubicle one day, I said, you know what? Well, let me start doing some research on schools that I should go to and find out what it would take to eventually learn and study coffee. So I found a school in Portland, Oregon, where they would train you and teach you and go through the process of learning coffee. So I took off vacation time for my job, which I had been there for, God knows when, like probably about 10, 15 years now, corporate America. So I took off vacation time and I packed up and flew out to Portland, Oregon. And mind you, it was a very intense training. We had to learn how to open the shop, close the shop, build out a shop, create your business plan, as well as steaming milk and learning how to roast coffee. And we went to different coffee shops, and it was very, very intense and very, very interesting. And all the detailed measures it took to actually get a coffee shop open. My advisor told me that I would need to possibly intern or work at a coffee shop. There's steps and measures before you can have confidence to open up a shop. So what I did was I researched and found a coffee shop that would allow me to come in after work and intern with them. So I ended up leaving work every day, 5 o'clock, and going to this coffee shop for 6 months. Every day, I would work 8 hours at my job, and then the next 4 hours, maybe 5 or 6 hours, every night for 6 months. I interned at a coffee shop learning everything, how to do customer service, how to roast coffee, make food, everything. They treated me like that was my coffee shop. Because that's my goal is I'm opening a coffee shop. So it takes a lot of time and effort into building up confidence to learn what it takes to open a coffee shop. And they didn't hold any kind of brakes on me. They were like, this is what you want to do. You better learn. So I did that for 6 months with no pay. And from there, talking to the owners of the coffee shop, they basically said, you know what, you need to travel out of the country and go to a farm and learn the ins and outs of the original coffee and what it takes to be a master barista. Because you're going to be challenged. You need to know everything, ins and outs, like it's second nature. So I, again, went to my job and took time off. And that's when I went to Nicaragua. I traveled to Nicaragua and I stayed on the farm for a good bit and worked with the farmers, helped them pick cherries. Wow, it was amazing. Being in the third world country, it was an eye-opener. I did a lot of crying and praying and thinking, God, like, you know what? My dream is actually coming to reality because I'm actually here. I've already put in the time and effort it takes to make my dream come true. So after studying coffee on the farm and getting to know the owners and the roasters and and knowing that they were praying me the whole way, like, yeah, you got this, this is the next leap into getting your shop open. So I ended up coming back from the farm with a whole different outlook on what I'm about to do. Like I'm about to do this all from an idea, a dream I had of what am I going to do for the rest of my life. So I got back to my job and started getting all my material, all my notes together, and said, okay, I've interned, I've done everything, I'm ready. I'm about to open me a shop. Well, I don't have any money. So from there, I started going to different banks and sitting down with the banker and saying, hey, guys, I want to open a coffee shop. I'm about to go out here into the world and be a coffee shop owner. I've studied coffee. I know the ins and outs of coffee. I can train. I've traveled across, the world to learn coffee. Well, so after going to all the banks and them telling me no, yes, I did get discouraged. And it was heartening, to be able to be told no this many times because you had your ideas set on becoming a coffee shop owner. Well, it didn't stop me, as most people know that when I have an idea of something, I'm not going to stop. Nothing stops me. I keep going. Well, I ended up acting up at work because most people didn't understand that this dream was not going to end. It wasn't going to be something that I was going to let go that easily. And after a while, I was just discouraged and I didn't want to be at my job anymore. My mind was so far-fetched on opening my coffee shop. And after another, I say, year, I ended up getting laid off from my job. And there, I was given my full balance of 15 years of my 401k. And that was my money to get the start of getting my doors open. So after leaving my corporate job after about 15 years, almost 20 years of working there, I started researching where I wanted to open my shop up. And it always said it wants to be a third place. It has to be in the traffic, a location that's close to busy streets. And what I ended up doing is going to an investor, and the investor pretty much matched my 401k and decided that, okay, you have to find yourself in an urban area. And we'll match the money and get you a shop, and help fund it, help you get your equipment, and get everything that you need to get the shop open. Just my surprise, the neighborhood that I lived in, there was a space that was literally across the street from my house. And so I went back to the investor and I said, hey, this is a location. It's in an urban area. I got the money and you guys can help match it and I can give the doors open. So my surprise, I ended up getting the shop, getting the location, and from there getting the equipment and opening my shop. I ended up getting my shop after a lot of intense work on the build out, the late down to City Hall, getting licensing. It's a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot of stressful nights, a lot of prayers, hard work. And in 2018, that's when I got my licensing and my building code and my building codes, and ended up opening the doors in 2018. So in 2018, I opened the shop with my son, and we decided to come up with a brand name. After talking to my advisors and my roasters, we all decided that this is home to you. So what is the thing that will get you to want this to be a legacy for your family? You put so much hard work into this, and this is something that meant a lot to you. It was time. You ended up, coming up with this idea from a childhood idea and something that was close to home. So I remember the night that my son and I were sitting there in the shop. The build out was almost complete, and we were getting our equipment in there, and everything was coming together after a long, hard, work. And so he said, Mom, it has to be something from the heart, something that means everything to you, that, you're not going to stop making moms. And it's going to give you that push to keep going. And so we ended up coming up with the name, actually named after my mother. And from there, everything so far is hard now. So, with that, that's why I want to dedicate all of these videos to my family and make them know that, this beautiful escape is part of our legacy, and it will live on and continue to grow.